Am I a sucker for picking all three of these up? Probably, but don't worry about it. Hey guys, this is Ukes Figures. Today I am very excited to be showing you the new McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Superman movie figures. The three of these just came out a couple days ago, and like you know, I'm very excited for the Superman movie, so I had to grab all three of them. On the rightmost, you have the standard version, and on the left, we have the battle damage version, and in the middle, we have Superman and Krypto, the deluxe theatrical version. I got him from CMD store from Canada. They're all pretty much the same figure, so I'm going to start by reviewing the deluxe one first, since that comes with the most stuff. I really like the packaging. There's this really nice metallic blue motif throughout, and it looks like they stepped up their game by adding a picture of Superman on the side of the box. At the back, we have this very nice yet cartoony picture of Superman and Krypto, and it's actually different from the picture that comes on the regular and the battle damaged release. On the interior of the package, we have this Fortress of Solitude crystal-like pattern all over. I like it a lot, actually. I think McFarlane definitely went all out in the packaging design in anticipation for the new movie. Krypto looks adorable. He's got his little floppy ear that is movie accurate, and he's just so fluff and you wish you could pick him up. Though I will say his head looks like he has articulation there. I actually don't think it's supposed to move. It just feels like it's gonna rip off. He's got some yellow dry brushing all over his body to add some variation to his color. Either that or Superman hasn't washed him in a while, and I hope that's not the case. Of course, he's got the logo on the back of his cape. Here he is next to Superman, and I know he's a small dog, but I think he might be slightly under scale. It's kind of hard to tell. And then here he is next to the comic book version of Krypto. You can see they obviously changed his breed from the comics. Now that we got Krypto taken care of, let's look at our main event, Superman. The sculpt and the texture of this figure really captured the movie design pretty well, although I will point out that proportionally he seems a little bit inaccurate. His torso is too boxy and he's a little bit too wide, which makes his neck look really thin and makes him look kind of pinheaded. You can see proportionally that there's a bit of a difference in the two. I know it's an action figure, but just a few millimeters in difference would really help with the proportions and the overall silhouette to make it look more like a real person. Anyway, outside of that, I think the colors are a little bit too dark and a little bit too saturated. Here's a look at the actual movie costume. Though I don't really mind because it seems like all of the movie toys and all of the promotional art also have it inaccurate, so I think that was just a problem with concept art or some sort of miscommunication. I think the head sculpt definitely looks quite a bit like David Cornsweat, but the paint job does not do it justice. Let me bring in my repaint of the Spin Master head sculpt so you can see the difference that a paint job can make. I definitely think they made his hair a little bit too brown because David Cornsweat's hair is pretty black in this movie, but that can all be resolved with a repaint, which I'm definitely going to do. I want to bring your attention to the chest. Not at the logo, but look at the little seam lines on the side. I'm not talking about the design lines. I'm talking about the literal lines on his torso. So it seems like his torso is two separate pieces that you can see here. There's these lines up here too. And the way that they connect the cape is through these two pieces. It's two separate pieces, pretty much like a clamshell, and the cape goes in between the middle. You can kind of see here better when I take the arms off. I really like the design of the trunks and especially the belt in the movie. Something about it being so chunky is just really satisfying to me. And of course, you gotta look at the S on his cape. This is something that I think the regular version did better. It's kind of hard to replicate the logo when you're just kind of ironing it on fabric, and in the movie there's depth and layers to the logo, which is really hard to replicate when you have a budget like this. Taking a look at his skin tone, I do want to point out that they definitely painted his skin tone over a darker color plastic. You can see here that the original plastic is kind of coming through, even here on the hands. The difference between painted and colored plastic is that colored plastic is a little bit more durable and there's a transparency to it. It's kind of more realistic than this painted skin tone. I will definitely point out some quality control issues with this figure. His torso is made of a really hard plastic, so whenever you move his arms across his torso, they kind of stress a little bit and it's a little bit worrisome. His head is a little bit tight on the neck, so the paint on his hair kind of rubs off on his neck, leaving some brown marks, which I'm not too fond of. Outside of Krypto, this guy comes with one pair of flying hands. He does not come with two-fisted hands, which I think is really dumb, especially considering he literally has two fists on the packaging. But it's okay, take his fist off and you're gonna notice there's only one figure in your entire collection that you can swap hands with. It's the Action Comics 1000 fist. So swap that fist and boom, there you go, Supes is ready to throw hand. He also comes with 3 additional faceplates outside of the one he has in the package. I know there's a lot of discourse about the difference between these 3, but let me show you. The one he comes with outside of the package is a little bit more calm. The first faceplate is my favorite. He looks a little bit more focused and a little bit more optimistic. You can see in his brow line and the sculpt of his cheeks and his smile, it's a little bit more defined, and I think it looks overall better. Next up, we have his angry sculpt, and I think it's a lot more obvious here. His brow is much more defined and furrowed. Next up, we have the Heat Vision sculpt, which for some reason reuses the optimistic sculpt rather than the angry sculpt, but it's okay. I know there's barely a difference in these 3, but there definitely still was an attempt made. Kind of reminds me of the InArt Toys Batman head sculpts. Those figures came with different faceplates, but there is such a minute difference between the 3. I'm sure when they're sculpting it digitally, there's much more of a difference, but when you scale it down to 1/12 scale or 1/10 scale, it's kind of hard to tell. Honestly, this guy's articulation is a little bit under average for the typical McFarlane figure. He can look up okay, he can look down okay. Side to side, of course, is pretty normal. His arms don't even hit a full 90 degrees unless you put it up on the ball joint, which is fine. Of course, he has bicep swivel and double jointed elbows. I will point out his double jointed elbows are pretty smooth this time. He has wrist rotation, and okay, his torso moves forward just a little bit, and it moves back quite well, so that's nice. And of course, he's got some good hula hoop action. He's actually got a really good thigh swivel on this guy. I'm really surprised. His thighs move really well, so that's nice. Double jointed knees, of course. And he has ankle rotation forward, back, ankle pivot, and also, of course, that toe joint. I definitely feel as if the posing on this figure could be improved with some articulation modifications, which I'm definitely going to do after this video. Okay, this is the regular release, and this is the deluxe release that I just showed you. The only difference is the cape is cloth on the deluxe release and rubber on the regular release. It shares the calm faceplate from the deluxe figure. Can you tell which one's which?
Hey buddy, eyes up here.
For whatever reason, in a lot of the marketing for this movie, Superman is either really dirty and dusty or burnt like he was in the first costume reveal. Maybe it's those reasons, or maybe it's because battle damage is pretty cool and we don't get to see Superman battle damaged a lot, but for some reason, I really like this figure. I mean, especially the cape. Something about that burnt, crispy cape is really satisfying to me. Of course, he comes with the two flying hands, which are exactly the same from the other figure, except they're dirtied up. Also, the faceplate is exactly the same from the angry faceplate you got in the deluxe release, though you can definitely see the difference now here that it's dirty. Even though I'm really digging the battle damage look on this guy, it looks less like he's burnt or dirty and more just kind of like they smeared him with mud or like poop, because he's kind of green, so I don't know. That being said, again, I still really like it for some reason, though I will point out that they did not paint the back of this figure. The battle damage fully just stops in the middle. And sure, you could argue that, oh, he got burnt by a kaiju on the front half, so that's why, but I don't know, I'm not buying it. Obviously, since all three of these figures are pretty much exactly the same, they all are the exact same height. So for the size comparison segment, I'm only going to use the deluxe release. Anyway, let's see how this guy scales with other movie figures. First, let's look at Christopher Reeve. Both of these men stood at 6'4" in real life, so I don't know why Christopher Reeve is so much taller. It's a little bit frustrating. Here he is next to Henry Cavill. Again, in real life, Henry Cavill is 6'1", which is quite a bit shorter than David Corenswet standing at 6'4", so I don't know why Henry Cavill is so much taller. On the other hand, here he is next to Robert Pattinson Batman. In real life, Robert Pattinson is 6'1", so this actually makes sense. I know a lot of people want to see this duo in the movies. Personally, I'm 50-50 on it. I could see either ways, but I don't know. Give me your opinion on the comments. Who do you want to be Batman in the new DCU? Here he is next to the Silver Age Superman and Action Comics 1000 Superman. Again, thank you Action Comics 1000 for donating your hand to this new Superman. Here he is next to the average Marvel Legend figure, that being Black Panther, and to the Spin Master 6-inch Superman, based off the same movie. I reviewed this figure on the channel, and I also repainted his head sculpt on the channel, so if you're interested in that, go check it out. Here's the Mattel Man of Steel Superman and the NECA Christopher Reeve Superman. Here's Mafex Zack Snyder Superman and DC Direct's Smallville Clark Kent. You know, I've always thought the three of these actors look similar, and David Corenswet kind of looks like a fusion of the two. I don't know, let me know if you agree. Here he is next to the only other movie figure I have from the toy line so far, Metamorpho. Also, this Metamorpho figure is actually surprisingly really good. I definitely recommend it. Here he is next to my custom Booster Gold action figure. Again, I promise this video will be out soon in the next month or something. It's taking long.
One burger with four slices.
We can't do that.
Just put 4 slices of cheese on a burger.
We can't do that. There's no possibility.
And lastly, here he is next to my custom work in progress Spin Master 12-inch Superman. He doesn't fit in the frame because he's too big. I'm eventually probably going to do a video on this custom when I finish it, but for now, here's a little sneak preview of what it looks like. I don't know, I'm pretty happy with it. So overall, what do I think of this figure? You know, I actually did a short form review of the standard release of this figure in my series reviewing every single Superman figure in my collection until the movie comes out. Shameless plug here. And in that video, I said that I was pretty disappointed with the figure. Now that I have all three of them in hand and I have the deluxe version with a cloth cape, I can say confidently that I like it a little bit more now. I think if the regular standard rubber cape version of the figure was like a 6 out of 10, the cloth cape version is honestly 8 out of 10, at least for McFarlane toys. The cloth cape and the wire really elevates the fun for me. Also, Krypto's always really fun. As for the battle damage version of the figure, I somehow like that one a lot more than the standard release. It's crazy how a little bit of paint can really elevate a figure from you. It brought it from a regular, kind of boring figure to an action-packed, battle-ready Superman figure. It's a fun gimmick, I don't know. The scaling issues are definitely a problem, but as long as he fits in scale with the figures from this movie, I think it's okay. But like I said, overall, I'm definitely very happy to have this figure, if not for the fact that I'm super excited for the movie and I'll buy pretty much anything related to this movie at this point. It's the fact that this figure, overall, is pretty decent. Thanks for watching. A like, subscribe, a comment, and a follow on Instagram at Uke'sFigures would be much appreciated. Also, stay tuned for my next video where I repaint this guy and make him more movie accurate and more lifelike. But until then, I'll see you in the next video. Up and away!